we consider it COVID? Yung statement kasi ng MMH was not clear. Probably due to COVID. I think yung official daw is ARDS, Acute Respiratory Distress Syndrome. Probably due to COVID. So, I guess hindi nila masabi. At hindi na test. So, hindi natin masabi na COVID talaga. So, baka hindi counted. I'm not sure, pero baka hindi counted as a COVID death, no?
Sir, yung ipinapatupad natin na lockdown, parang may bagong memorandum ng Philippine National Police sa Regional Office, parang pinapatanggal na yung mga checkpoints na ginawa ng mga barangay sa mga provincial and national roads, sir.
Yeah, well, parang medyo nalilito yata ang mga iba dun sa memo na yun, no? Kasi yung iba nagsasabi na bawal na daw yung barangay checkpoint, pero hindi naman daw, di ba? I think ang gusto lang nila is to expedite, no, or to remove any of the blockades or hindrance, di ba? Kasi yun ang nakikita nila. Yung ibang checkpoint, wala naman silbi, di ba? Parang walang purpose. So, they're removing some checkpoints na unnecessary, di ba? Kung may checkpoint na tapos biglang may susunod na checkpoint na walang use, tinatanggal na. But PD has clarified with me that this does not mean na bawal ang barangay checkpoint. Pwede pa rin ang barangay checkpoint, kaya lang dapat supervised and approved by PNP, no? At deemed necessary siya, no? So we remind our kapitans na pwede pa rin basta in coordination with PNP. So in fact, yun ang gusto kong i-emphasize to our kapitans and our BHERTs na the quarantine starts with them. Diba? Kasi kung hindi makalabas ang kotse or ang tao sa barangay, okay na tayo. Diba? Kasi wala na wala na silang pupuntahan. So, if we look at it, no, first step, President Duterte declared Luzon under quarantine, diba? And then lockdown, diba? And then we declared, as a province, declared our quarantine and then subsequently our lockdown. Diba? So okay na tayo sa Luzon, okay na tayo sa province. Now, recently, we started limiting yung inter-town or inter-city or inter-municipality movement. So, across towns, lessened na daw. Now, ano yung last step? Siyempre, within the town, diba? Intra-town, sa loob ng town, sana we can limit that. That's the next step. And the only way to do that is the barangay level. Diba? So yun yung parang phases po natin, diba? Okay na tayo sa Luzon, okay na tayo sa probinsya, okay na tayo sa munisipyo. Next is barangay level, no? So we're asking that the barangay level be very careful, no? Who they let out of the house. Kasi once nakalabas ng barangay, di na natin alam kung saan sila pupunta. So I asked Colonel Abrahano, our provincial director ng PNP, to make sure that we're vetting the people exiting. Kasi paminsan yung papasok lang di ba? Takot sila sa papasok, pero palabas, okay lang, sige lang. But dapat both, no? Na para ma-stop doon at the point of exit pa lang.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Since na yung Batak and then Pawai is affected with this, meron yata tayong balak with our isolation areas here in Ilocos Norte together with the PDN and other hospitals in Nawag. How is that, Dog?
Yeah, so I asked, I met all the mayors yesterday afternoon, and in line with the ILG's order, di ba, na dapat lahat ng LGU may quarantine facility, I also asked them to find their own quarantine facility. This also came up kasi may mga returning residents, di ba, na stranded dun sa border po natin. And we asked that kasi some of these returning residents were caught before the EO, di ba? Let's say nagbiyahe na po sila, tapos before the EO, pagdating dito, enforce na yung EO. So kawawa din. So we asked some of the mayors to admit them, no, to let them come home, but they have to be isolated in a separate area. So many of the towns already have their own, no, iba-iba. Yung iba, medical facility. I even suggested yung mothering center. Yung iba, evacuation center, hotel or motel. So many have also asked that we reach out to the DepEd para magamit yung mga classrooms. So that's also an option. But that's the next step. For the towns, for each of them to have their own quarantine. For the province's part, we've already prepared PDN, which is ready for occupancy for about, I think, 40, kasi one wing, one building. So nag-ocular po kami doon the other day along with Dr. Ataisa of MMH. And okay naman siya. Medyo rundown kasi matagal na hindi ginamit, but I think for quarantine standards maganda naman yung PDN. So our plan now is for the PUI mild without comorbidity or under 60 to go to PDN. And then yung PUI mild with comorbidity or above or 60 and above will go to either LCGH or we'll also be setting up a tent, a makeshift tent and quarantine area at the DPWH compound of District 1, which luckily is across Grasma. So parang yun po ang magiging quarantine makeshift building, quarantine tent ng Grasma. So still considered Grasma. Kasi nagbago po ang DOH na dati ang sabi, pag PUI mild, hindi kailangan pwedeng mag-home quarantine pag PUI mild. But then a few days ago, they announced na nagbago na PUI mild na high risk, which is with comorbidity or above 60, hospital na, quarantine. PUI mild low risk na under 60 or without comorbidity, quarantine na hindi kailangan na hospital. So basta somewhere else. So that will be our PDN, and then yung hospital will be Grasma. So I think we have the capacity naman. MMH has not been maximized yet, no? They still have available beds. And then they've also agreed with Mayor Albert to use his evacuation center yata, diba? And then MMSU is also offering their mansion ba tawag? And we have PDN, we're setting up the tents. We've also considered using Dingras as a quarantine facility. But for now, we'll use PDN and yung DPWH compound across from Grasma. That's our plan. But sa ngayon, wala pa yatang naka-quarantine dun sa dalawang venue po natin. Also, LCGH has 10 beds dun po sa 5th floor yata nila that they've agreed na hindi lang daw para sa mga Lawagenyo. So they'll open it up daw to COVID cases, and they've signed a MOA with MMMH to assist them. So parang learning center na rin for COVID.
Sir, in line with this, may I just ask this? Sorry to ask, but in preparation, we are talking about the mild and the severe cases. How about worst comes to worst? If there's mortality rate, do we have a plan for crematorium or whatever?
Yeah, we're still looking.
advance.
Yeah, we're still looking into that, especially with this 16-year-old who has passed away. Mayor Fidel called me this morning kasi they wanted to make sure that they follow protocol. But in this case naman, hindi yata official COVID, no? But just as well, they wanted to follow yung procedure. I know there's one in Sur, diba? There's a crematorium in Sur. So we'll have to look into that kung may options tayo locally. Kasi preferably locally, no? Baka naman ma-restrict din tayo sa Sur kasi naka-lockdown din sila. So we have yet to finalize yung burial. I know there are also two diba? There's a burial option and there's a crematorium option. So it's also up to the family siguro kung anong gusto nila. Basta I know within 12 hours, diba? Yun ang rule ng DOH.
Okay, Roddy from DCJC.
Okay. Good afternoon, Gov.
Hi, magandang hapon.
And assessing the situation after we have confirmed 2 cases of COVID in Ilocos Norte, do we see the need to reassess the action taken or being undertaken by the health department in handling the COVID problem here in the province?
Sa DOH po?
Oo, sir. On how to deal with the threat of COVID here, considering that we have already confirmed 2 cases, that accordingly is locally transmitted itong mga
Opo.
sa kanila.
Pero yung sinasabi niyo po, yung sa DOH galing sa national or yung sa amin po sa PHO?
Sa PHO, sir.
Okay. Well, sa amin, of course, it honestly nothing much changed kasi we're already in the mode, no, na we must act, diba, as soon as possible, and we've been preparing for this, so we've been fearing this, no, and I think all of us knew naman that realistically delayed lang tayo, no. We weren't, as we're seeing, no, around the world, I mean, nobody is spared, no? So, it's almost impossible, no? Parang inevitable po itong result. But on our part, we've been doing most of the practices that we need to, no? Ilang weeks na to We've already been locked down, diba? We've already been in quarantine. But what we haven't done yet, and it's the most important thing to do, is to test as many people as possible, diba? Well, not as many, but to test likely carriers, no? Kasi yun nga sinasabi nila, di ba, yung narinig po natin na flatten the curve. You flatten the curve by social distancing, minimizing movement, no contact, di ba? That's how you flatten the curve. But to really eliminate the curve or to eradicate the virus, the only way is to test, di ba? Is to test and to know, to identify who has it, and then to isolate them. Diba? Because if we don't know who has it, then there's only so much we can do. Kaya nga sinasabi nila, our practices now and social distancing and lockdown, all this is doing is slowing down the spread, diba? It's just slowing it down, but it's not actually a solution, diba? It's helping, but all it's doing is buying us time, diba? Giving us time to really prepare for the real war, and that's to test those who may have it, no? So we're waiting on DOH. There's some good news. Hopefully, DOH claims that they'll be gifting us a PCR machine so we can test ourselves, no, here locally. Thankfully, MMMH is the only hospital in the region that is capable and trained for this type of testing. Kaya lang wala pa yung machine sa kanila. Yesterday, Dr. Artaisa told me that DOH has now promised a PCR machine. Now, when that will come, I'm not sure. And from what I've heard from the experts, yung mga rapid testing kits, yung sinasabi nila that are going viral na meron na daw, mabilis, yung iba nagsasabi 5 minutes, 15 minutes. Those are not advisable, diba? Kasi they're not accurate. So, for now, they're not accurate enough for us to use them. I don't think it's something that we should look for, no? Itong mga rapid testing kits. Kasi the accuracy daw it ranges eh. Yung iba nagsasabi parang 4 out of 10, 6 out of 10, then I've heard 80 plus, so hindi mo masabi eh. So we want to wait for the PCR machine and to make sure that when we get our results, they're trustworthy. No? And that's also the advice of MMMH na PCR na lang tayo. Wag po tayo sa rapid testing kits.
Okay, lastly, in line with that, sir, basically speaking, do we have at least the basic equipments needed to face the situation here in Ilocos Norte?
Yeah, we've been supplying, of course, our frontliners, those at the checkpoints, those at the RHUs, those at the hospitals with the necessary materials, and we've also purchased many more, and others are still on the way. No, so for the most part, we've bought even extreme equipment like the ventilators, diba na sinasabi nila pag critical na, PPEs, the full body suits, no. Of course, the masks, gloves, alcohol, disinfectants. Yung mga shields we don't buy kasi pwede naman gawin locally. So we continue to assess, no, our needs, and for the most part, I think we're okay naman. Wala naman severe shortage, and we're in touch naman with those on the ground, and we have a system wherein kung may kulang, they report it naman to us. For example, each checkpoint has a team leader, no, assigned by Colonel Abrahano, that siya yung parang focal person dun sa checkpoint na yan. So kung may kulang sila, they just inform us, no. So I instructed them also na dapat alam po nila kung anong kailangan nila per week, no, yung supplies nila para alam na natin. Kasi baka naman ayaw naman natin yung pag-ubos lang sasabihin sa atin, diba? So we want a system wherein medyo organized, no, at medyo ma-predict na natin kung ano yung kailangan nila per week, let's say, para in advance nandun na, diba? Hindi na tayo maghintay kasi alam niyo naman pag gobyerno medyo matagal na rin yung procurement process.
Good afternoon, Gov. I'm Bombo Ram Nikimoy from Bombo Radyo Lawak. Do we have testing kits, Gov?
Yeah, I know MMH has a few more. I think they were down to parang 2 or 3, so a few more. Also, DOH has received so many testing kits, right? So I know they're supposed to be distributed soon, no? I'm not sure what kind of testing kits exactly they are, but we're all waiting from the national government, whether it be DOH or DSWD, no? There's 5,000, 5 to 8,000 na sinasabi nila testing kits. We all hear na approved na, on the way na, but you know, until we receive it, we're waiting lang.
Lastly po, Gov, can I ask kung kumusta na po si BBM, Gov?
Okay naman. He's been getting better naman ever since he came back. Tinext ko siya, sabi niya he's feeling better and better. And in fact, I don't think he was ever feeling that bad, no? So, hindi naman ganun ka-serious yung case niya. Also, I think yung test na nakuha niya was the rapid testing kit, di ba? So, wala pa yata yung talagang official. But he came from Spain, London and Spain, which I think both are very infected na, di ba?
Thank you, Gov.
Thank you.
Good
Good afternoon po, Gov. Based on your EO po, may instruction po kayo sa mga local chief executive. Lahat po ba nakapag-comply na on providing or designating essential supply days based po sa meeting nyo po kahapon? And yung monitoring din po kung based on your EO, yung paglibit po ng personnel na magbabantay po sa mga checkpoint, nagko-comply po ba based on your monitor po?
Yeah, I think for the most part, okay na kasi nag-take over na rin yung PNP, di ba? Sa checkpoint. So, dapat 6 people lang. And then we also set parang soft limits dun sa border checkpoint. So, Colonel Abrahano set arranged teams, no? For each checkpoint na number of people, length of shift, diba, and the number of shifts. Like Badok, I think, has 4, no? So, bali 6 hours. Every 6 hours, may bagong team. Then I think Pagudpud is every 8 hours, so 3 teams. And then the other 2, I think, 2 teams lang, 12 hours each. So, we wanted kasi to make sure that also our border checkpoints did not have too many people. Dun po sa essential supplies days, yeah, I think for the most part, nag-observe na sila. At first, I think may confusion ng konti dun sa supplies days. Yung iba, parang they close the market on other days. But I asked the mayors that huwag niyong i-close yung market kasi the whole point is dapat bukas yung market as often as possible, di ba? Pag every day, mas maigi pa. Or at least may options, di ba, yung mga tao, and we can divide them into groups, no? Let's say MWF morning, di ba? Or MWF afternoon, di ba? And then yung isa, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, so on and so forth, no? Yesterday, we discussed yung localizing of markets. So, pag-breakdown ng markets para hindi isang public market ang puntahan. So, we asked that the mayors look into creating barangay markets. Diba? Para hindi na pupunta yung hindi na lahat pupunta sa isang lugar na public market in one municipality or a neighboring municipality. So, we asked for them to have smaller markets. Like I think Lawag is doing here, di ba? Yung Talipapa, di ba? So, ganun yung setup na gusto natin na small, localized barangay markets catering for barangay or a cluster of barangays. Wag yung, di ba? Wag yung malaki kasi that can be very dangerous practice.
Siguro ito na ang last questions, Governor. Nakaklose pila.
Meron po Governor, mga daily wage earner dito sa atin na hindi pa sumasahod hanggang ngayon simula ng enhanced community quarantine. Ano po ang tulong na may bibigay ng provincial government sa kanila? And nagtatanong po ng mga tao, Governor, kung mayroon daw second wave ng relief goods na ibibigay ng probinsya natin. So,
Yeah, meron po. Actually, hindi pa kami tapos sa first wave eh. So, ganun talaga, no? Hindi pa tapos sa first wave, nagtatanong na sa second wave. Meron po. We will have a second wave. We're just packing goods still. At gusto rin namin i-timing din sa ibang relief ng barangay o munisipyo. But we've already given 17,000 food packs and almost 4,000 rice sacks, yung malaking 50 kg. So, tuloy-tuloy po yan. We also have our Cash for Work program, which will be 15M, province-wide, 15 million. And we also have different departments. I asked all of our department heads to reprogram the budgets that they have and i-align nila dito sa COVID crisis natin, di ba? So, tourism has their own program, yung livelihood continuity. Youth will have their own program, which will probably be in conjunction with our Kadiwa. Peso also has their own, parang magiging cash for work din. And SME also allotted a budget that they can dedicate to COVID. So there's budget naman, and we'll just make sure na lang that we're trying, no, to make sure that it gets to the right people, no, yung mga in need talaga, especially ayun nga po, yung mga daily wage earners. So if you guys hear of anyone na hindi nakakuha, just let us know and we'll try to assist them.
okay. Before the second wave or second round of questioning, sir, may I ask question too? Since lockdown na po tayo, sir, dito sa Ilocos Norte, kumusta naman po yung mga food supplies, mga goods galing sa Maynila o iba pang southern part ng Philippines para dito sa Ilocos Norte? Do we have enough food supplies and everything, basic commodities po na para sa mga taga Ilocos Norte po, Governor?
Yeah, we do naman. I think last count of NFA was almost 2 months, diba? 57 days. So we want to make sure, our goal is to make sure that we always have 3 months, 3 months worth of food supply. Luckily, syempre, kasi agri-province tayo, we probably won't have a difficult time feeding ourselves, no? But ang nakakatakot lang, syempre, we don't want our, not to sound selfish, but ayaw naman natin na all our food goes elsewhere, diba? To other provinces. Even though we want to help, we have to make sure that our province and our people have enough. So we're looking at ways to do that, and yung Kadiwa also addresses that, no? Kasi we're basically selling local produce cheaper, no? Yung Kadiwa, we guarantee that our Kadiwa is at least 10% cheaper than yung retail price. So we're helping the farmers and the food producers kasi we're buying local. We're guaranteeing them also 10% profit, and then we make sure that we sell 10% cheaper than yung retail. So paminsan, lugi kami, pero okay lang kasi gobyerno naman hindi naman kailangan ng kumita. So we're continuing to look at our food security. We know that this is a health issue, but it is also quickly becoming a food issue and an economic issue. and hopefully not a physical or psychological issue. So that's why we ask everyone to continue to exercise and not to worry too much, no?
Isa pang natanong, Governor, tinatanong ng ating mga kababayan kung meron tayong information or natanggap na sa Ilocos Norte tungkol sa ibibigay ng national government na sinasabi 5,000 to 8,000 pesos, Governor.
Yeah, we're still submitting our lists, no? So I think kailangan set na yung mga beneficiaries for that. So we're still assisting, and we requested more from DOLE. I think it's a joint program, DOLE and DSWD. So they actually approved the additional 500 recipients. So I think by Friday daw yung deadline para i-submit yung mga pangalan. So right now we're just compiling yung mga names, and